What's going on, everyone? This is Cole Gonzalez, also known as Cole World, CEO of OSSA.AI. Today, we're joined by Kui Kapu. It's a tongue twister. I said it right. Um, he's the founder of Combat Citadel. He's got a really awesome background. He's 29 years old. He's crushing it, outside of social media, and he saw all these, creators that were doing faceless stuff, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to crush it there too, and he absolutely has. And he's crushing it on TikTok. We met originally in the DMs. I reached out to him because I saw one of his videos. He has a really, really cool story, so I'm really looking forward to him sharing about how he found OSSA and how it may or may not be changing his life. But yeah, Kui, it's awesome to have you here.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, let's just start off. Let's kind of zoom backwards before all the social media stuff. Maybe you could tell everyone a little bit about you as a person. Like who is Kui outside of the social media stuff?
Yeah, I would say Kui's a lovable guy. I like hanging out with my friends, my family. I have two dogs. I'm out here in Texas. I love working really hard, persevering through really hard shit too, um, and kind of just I obviously went down this kind of path of you start kind of making some big boy money and you kind of want to do those things that you had dreams of as a kid. All I saw was these athletes going out partying, having a good time. And so I was like, man, when I get there one day, like that's what I want to do. um, I will tell you right now, after the hundreds of thousands of dollars I spent doing that stuff, it's not worth it. Um, and I needed something to get me out of it before it went too bad, like too down this rabbit hole that would have really hurt my family, really hurt my friends, and really hurt the people that invested in me. And it was probably about 2 years ago where I found myself like the gym was always my home. Now it wasn't like a specific gym; it was just the weight room. My first job ever was working at a gym, and I would always, whenever stuff wasn't working out for me, I would just be in the gym. And whether I had a routine or not, I would just spend hours there. Whether I was by myself, whether it was with a friend that was willing to go with me, and that kind of translated in towards martial arts. And so I found myself in a boxing gym first. Really enjoyed boxing, um, and then that's when I started to have a desire to start watching the UFC, because the fights were just insane. And absolutely, like when you start translating like what you're practicing and you see professionals doing it at such a high level, you're kind of just like, wow, like I'm starting to understand the sport. I'm understanding the art. I'm building a really strong foundation for myself. And so that then translated into MMA. And so out here in Texas, I found an MMA gym and kind of just got hit in the head way too much. Um, but I found my love in jujitsu, and I've been training for the last 3 months specifically just in jujitsu. And what martial arts has done for me is just build this foundation of just this strong mind to body connection of just like, if my mind isn't right, my body's not going to be right. If my body isn't right, my mind's not going to be right. So working on those things at the same time, martial arts has allowed me to do that. Whether it's a competition, whether it's a really hard rolling session or practice, whatever it is, you have to get your mind right for that. And so when life happens and things get tough on the outside, whether it's financials, family, any sort of situation like that, I'm able to, kind of have a calm mind during it, and really make decisions that are going to benefit everybody rather than just myself.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I did not expect that story, to be honest. That's
Yeah.
incredible. It really resonates with me. I'm 23. I'm a little bit younger.
Hmm.
And yeah, I kind of did the same thing. And I've been sharing this with my community, which is that, I made a good amount of money when I was in my teens. And then I started spending a lot of money and doing all these things. And I recently, I'm going to post this video. I remember there's this time I was sitting at the top of the Wynn, a hotel in Las Vegas, in like a suite with my girlfriend, and we were there and we were going out to meet with some people and in the Web3 space. And I was like drinking champagne, and I just looked out when she was in the bathroom, and I'm like, it just felt so empty. And I'm like, what am I missing? And it's
Hmm.
like everything changed for me then. And I realized I'm like, I want to do things that are contributing to me growing and being better, right? Like that's how I need to measure myself. Because if I was always looking at how much money am I making, I'm just always going to be empty. So I'm super happy you share that. It's an awesome story.
Yeah, thank you.
But how does so? I guess kind of moving off of that, how did social media and what was the spark to take that passion of martial arts, right? And I can share your page here, but
Mm.
what was the passion? What was the turning point for you to take the leap into creating, content about that passion?
Yeah, so really, I mean, I'm sure he's probably been up here, but James Ward, I stumbled upon him on just my personal page. I had no direction with my personal page. It was, because I do some acting and I've been making music for the last 3 years. That's kind of like the things that I really find. Yeah, there it is, and it's really found like a passion into that, and I enjoyed it. But ultimately, it wasn't really moving the needle the way I wanted it to. And so we did a really hard project for about 120 days, and it didn't blow up. And so I was kind of like, man, what am I doing wrong with content creating? Like, there's got to be like, what am I doing wrong? And like, how can I fix it? The connection between me and the people, it's not there. And so that's when I kind of fell back into martial arts and like, I'm just going to train. I'm just going to train. I'm not going to post anything. I'm not going to be strategic in any way. I'm just going to, train. And then I stumbled upon James Ward's live. He was going live and he's just showing this faceless TikTok has been around. And obviously, you see the people posting the like meme clips or like
Mhm.
the live stream. I don't want to get rich off of somebody else. I don't want to like share somebody else's like stuff. I don't know. That's just me personally.
Mhm.
I want to do my own thing and build my own avenue and help people with something that I truly feel like I can stand behind. And so the way that James was explaining it was really like you can share value without spending hours and hours of editing, filming, and all this stuff. I'll get you a video done in 5 minutes, and that intrigued me. I was like, let me see what this guy's about. There's just so many people, nothing against anybody else. They're all trying to do their own thing, and I respect
Mhm.
that. But like, there's so many frauds and so many just people that are just trying to make a quick buck that I was like, I'm willing to pay for a private lesson with him to really see what it's about.
Mhm.
Um, and so we had a one-on-one call. He literally broke everything down to a T to where he's like, find your passion, find your why, what drives you where you could post every single day. Um, and it was easy. Martial arts was the first thing that popped up in my head, and he was like, I haven't even heard of somebody bringing that up yet, so I think that'd be great. He broke down the formula and literally made my first video in like 3 minutes. And obviously using AI, using your software, OSSA, which has been huge, but using OSSA and ChatGPT to kind of create this system of just being able to post right and consistently, and like then it just took it was just consistency, and from there on it was it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, making it sound so simple, but there's gotta be, right? There's gotta be something there, right? And
Yeah.
that's really what I want to dive into. Like, first of all, in case it's not clear, this is Kui's account, has 24,000 followers, 67,000 likes. You can see I have it filtered by his top videos. You see his top video did almost 500,000 views. And like you said, this is all created with OSSA.AI. So absolutely incredible, first of all. And then he
Mhm.
also has a school community, which I'm sure we'll dive into in a second, which
Mhm.
people are joining, which is really incredible. But yeah, I mean, I really want to dive into, because there's going to be a lot of the community watching this, right? And I think the biggest potential problem that they're running into, because I've been talking with them a lot on the community calls, is they're a little bit confused on how to start, right? Because it's obviously really easy, probably easier than any other platform to actually create the videos with OSA.
Yes.
Right? Like a 5-year-old could do it. But
Yes.
it's like, I think what is separating you and maybe some of these other individuals on the platform is there's a certain way that you're approaching the actual creation of content
Mhm.
that they might not. So it's like, when when you think about what type of content you are creating, first of all, you said and I agree with this, it's important you're passionate about it, right? Because you need to stay motivated, because you guys probably won't see this, but it took them a couple months to get to this point, right? So it's not going to happen overnight. So that's like number one. So let's just assume we're all on the same page, like you're willing to post for at least a couple months, right?
Yeah.
Now if we agree on that, it's like, what is really, would you say, has been the largest contributing factor to you growing this page and creating content that resonates with people?
I would definitely say it's the prompt. And I think it starts with the prompt because it lays out the foundation to then post and then take the data and see what the community and the people are saying, and then kind of edit that prompt consistently just based off what the people want. Right. So, for example, I'll just do a post. It's like, if I wanted to find out who would win between karate and kung fu, right, I would then dive into ChatGPT and ask, like, give me the analytics and break this down through 1,000 practitioners. I like to go really really deep into it to
Mm-hmm.
find a very valid answer that I would stand behind too, and
Mm-hmm.
then once the prompt is built out by using famous practitioners, right, people need to relate to it some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So the prompt has to be relatable. The prompt, again, it was very new to me, but it's kind of got to have a little controversy.
Okay.
Like, that's the biggest thing. If you look at the number one video I have is Krav. Like, look at the caption. Literally says
Why is
Krav
Krav
Maga
Maga
is the
considered?
best self defense. Like, already people are gonna be like, "You're full of shit." And I'm like, "I like that. Like, bring it, like, give me all of this." I mean, I have a different opinion, obviously, but, when you share something that's kind of very, like, controversial in a way that, like, stirs the pot to where it's like, it's not harming nobody, but at the same time, it's driving that traffic to then come see the page, to then when these guys come to the page and they look at the rest of the videos, they're gonna be like, oh wow, they get lost, and then
Mm-hmm.
they follow, and then now they're waiting for the next thing. As you can see, I then talk about boxing is actually the best self defense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the end of the world, but what it does is you create a little controversy, you dive in depth to something that's relatable, right? So I'm using practitioners, I'm using words or countries in the prompt to then drive in. Like, the US is my biggest kind of supporter, which is awesome, but then
Mm-hmm.
you have Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
then you have South Americas and South Africa, all these other countries, like, supporting it, because now I'm touching on a subject that is the history of martial arts. Like, martial arts isn't just found in one place, so the niche that you're looking for has to be broad enough to be relatable to all ends of the world, but then you can kind of hone it down within that. And if you wanted to do a series on, I could do a series on practitioners, I could do a series on
Mm-hmm.
whatever I wanted, but it's because it's broad enough. And so it starts with the niche, obviously, then you kind of narrow it down to the prompt, and you got to just try it out.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get it. Like, I didn't have it down the first time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the consistency, it's showing up, it's then taking a look at your first 100 posts, finding the top 10, why were they the top 10,
Yep.
narrow it down, and then just keep working at it. And it's going to take months, but get over it. Like,
Yeah.
like, when you get over that, then it's like, okay, it's 5 minutes, it's 15 minutes of my day. For me, it's usually about an hour or two because I love it. And I make a few videos, I look through it with OSSA, and then I post it. And I let the rest happen.
It's incredible. No, it's awesome. And I loved how you touched on, and by the way, when you say prompt, you're talking about like the script, right? Whatever you put
Correct.
into.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just so we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I love how you talked about the controversy side of things, because I think that is really important. Is you don't want a negative stigma, right? But you
No.
also, I'm kind of looking at your content, and what I see is like you're giving information, but you're also tying in an opinion to it. So you're not just stating this is information, but you're saying here's information about Krav Maga, and it is the best self-defense, right? So you're having an opinion on information, which I think is like a really cool thing I haven't really thought about, because
Yeah.
you're saying this is the greatest kung fu practitioner of all time, which information about them, I assume, but also there's an opinion there that this is the
Mhm.
best one. And if I clicked in here, I would assume people also pop in here and say, nope, yeah, it's not, right?
Yeah.
So that's a really cool way of looking at it. Wow,
Mhm.
that's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, look, like you can even look at the Lua Warriors, like right below it. It's a Hawaii. It's literally showing a video. I'm Hawaiian. Does that look Hawaiian to you? Like, no, it stirs the pot, right? Like I'm here to stir the pot. I'm here to get people riled up because every single person that's commenting or engaging, it's driving more people to the topic, and that's what we want. We want traffic. Like the first thing anybody should focus on is traffic.
Hmm.
And by doing that, you're gonna have to work with the script. You have a great platform, and I mean, it makes it so easy. Like you, I'm sure we'll dive into it, but you make it really easy to like edit the photos if I wanted to after the video is done. Um, and 99% of the time, I don't even have to touch it. I watch every single video before it goes out, and I don't. Yeah, I you can edit it if you really wanted to, but I like it when you get a blend of people who absolutely love it and absolutely hate it. I like that when you come together because it's all under my umbrella of of content. So,
It makes a ton of sense. And I think one thing that I'm actually really realizing the importance of creating something, that you're passionate about and creating something you understand is that you also understand what is going to make people tick, right?
mhm,
And I think that's like probably the most important thing is if, for example, we know that history pages are going super viral, right?
right.
But does that mean everyone should do a history page? Well, probably not because one, you're not going to stay motivated, but two, and more importantly, you have no understanding of what are people actually going to want to
Right.
consume, what actually makes them tick, right? So it's like it makes sense that you've garnered this community of absolute supporters and maybe some haters as well, which I have that too
Yeah.
on my personal brand.
Yeah.
But whenever I create a piece of content, I'm, for my personal brand, and I've talked about this before, these concepts carry over to faceless content. It's very similar. It's me thinking, okay, if I'm not me, I'm my viewer, right? I'm speaking to that person. What are they going to think when I say this? How are they going to react? What comments would they make? And if you can't answer that question, then it means you're creating content in a niche you don't understand. And
Mhm.
that's the real problem is most people look at social media as this massive vacuum black hole of like, how does this thing work? It's
Yeah.
this simple, right? Here's you, here's people that want to watch your stuff,
Yeah.
right? People that want to watch your stuff, why do they watch it? Because it's relatable and they understand it. If you
Mhm.
don't understand these people and their desires and their terminology and their language, then how are you going to bridge that gap? How are you going to get them to comment on something if you don't even know what they enjoy listening to, right?
True.
You didn't even enjoy know what they enjoy watching. If you don't know their opinions, right, and what makes them tick, then it's going to be very difficult for you to actually speak to that person. So
Mhm.
that's been, my approach. I would love to hear if that resonates or if there's anything you wanted to touch on there.
1,000%. But I think the biggest thing that people don't understand, which is completely fine because you don't know what you don't know, is like it's not gonna happen first. Like the first time I ever tried to do faceless content, I was so in depth of like, I want to create stories of Greek gods fighting each other. I want to do like a novel of like stories where they're not even real, but like you can relate because I love combat. And so like Combat Citadel was first going to be stories of like Prometheus getting saved by Hercules and stuff like, and then I realized nobody fucking cares. Like,
That's so
like
funny, dude.
like
That's hilarious.
it's like
Yeah.
nobody cares. And
Mm,
when you get that out of your head of like, "Oh, I wanna make content for me," it's like, well, understand the niche has to be something you can understand. But this isn't about you. And so once you realize like, hey, like for me personally, I can say and I can look everybody in the eye and say martial arts saved my life from where it was going, but I know enough about it, and I'm not an expert. I will be one day, but I don't know enough about it or I know enough about it to stir the pot.
mhm,
Like you said, like to I have an opinion on stuff, and ChatGPT has obviously been really helpful, and so I definitely think if you guys are trying to just go off the dome, you're spending a lot of time that can get done in seconds.
mhm.
And then obviously everybody who's here has seen the great things that OSSA's done. So it's just plug and play from there. But it's about the reps. Like your first prompt, your first story is probably going to suck. Get over it. Your 10th
Yeah.
one, probably going to suck. Your 100th one, if you've been learning because you have the tools to learn, probably be a lot better. And then from there, it just takes off.
Yeah. It's brilliant. I'm so happy you're sharing this. And
Yeah.
it's like really, really funny about all this is like, it doesn't really surprise me, right, that you've been able to accomplish this. And that's not because I think the tool is the best ever, because I do think that, right, because I'm biased.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm learning more and more that it's about the person. It's about the like, you are the definition of a person who's going to accomplish something if they set out to do it, right?
Mhm.
And it's totally possible, right? And I've kind of said this from the start, but it's really becoming a lot more real. A lot of individuals that I've worked with, James, have found, tremendous success. And of course, there's information that's necessary to do this, right? That you need. But
Right.
there's also just time that needs to be committed. And it's less time than it's ever needed before. Like, you've done this spending what, like 15, 30 minutes a day. And yeah,
Mhm.
it takes time, but it's like, we are just a tool, right? And
Mhm.
it's like, you're the perfect representation of the mindset it actually takes to do this thing. And, if you look around at other platforms, anyone who claims that you can just do this on autopilot, it just doesn't work. That's just not, we're not there yet. And I think over time, we'll be able to be in a place where it's going to be much, much easier for you to just get from, like, go to the platform, create a script, post it, right? Like that threshold. But there's still always gonna be those nuances that I think are necessary, in my opinion, for like that human touch, right? That human, because it's like, social media is way too complex for someone to just be like, yeah, press a button and just grow. And no one even wants that, right? It's like, there's no, and that's always been my thing too, is like, how do you feel knowing that, yeah, you used a really good tool to do this, but like, this is your doing, right? This isn't necessarily just OSA's doing. And I'll be like completely transparent about that. But that's never been our goal, to strip the creativity of someone and not have them, have that feeling. So it's like, how does it actually feel? I guess I'm asking you to like know that you did this.
I mean, I'm not surprised because it took so long for me to get here, right? Like I didn't come out the womb with a mindset of like I'm a winner, right? But it took time to develop that, but also it like the tools that were given, like we all have the tools to make it happen, but
Mm,
yes, it does take the mindset to make that work. And everybody, like that human touch, like I still go into the comments and stir it up, not too crazy, but like, do you think a robot would like knows how to really stir it up? Like bare minimum probably, but like I know how to keep digging and digging and digging, or I can agree with people, or I got into an argument with some guy that he's like, I've been a practitioner for 10 years. You can't train in your house. And I'm like, you're an idiot. Like if you're not trying to help people that can't get to a gym and all they have is the house, you're telling me you can't build a foundation from that? You're an idiot. Like so there you're gonna get people like that, but like it takes that human, that desire to really help people as well. Like the tool of OSA has enhanced my creativity. It's enhanced my ability to produce at a very high level, and at a consistent level. And like you said, it almost feels like plug and play because it's so natural now. It's so like it's in the back of my hand of like I know exactly what I'm looking for, and then 3 months from now, I'm going to learn something, or tomorrow, today, who knows, and I'm going to apply that. It's just like it takes that consistent learning and applying to create something really good like this, but we all have the tools to make it happen. It's just like, do you want to do it, or are you just going to keep complaining and giving excuses about it?
yeah, I mean, you're totally right. And I guess one thing I want to, there's two more things I really want to dive into.
Yes.
The first thing is, so obviously you're monetizing now at this point through the creator program. So
Mhm.
just to confirm, they have let you into the program and you're getting paid, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Which is incredible. And then how long did it take you to actually get to 10K? Because you're at 24,000 now. So do you
Yes.
have a general idea?
Yeah. So it was, I want to say it was around that 60 days. It was really, really consistent of like 200 views to 400, maybe 600 a video. Um, Obviously, I posted more than once because
Mhm.
you have to do that in order to be consistent and get in people's faces. Um, but it took a long time to get to 3,000. Then it took a really short time from 3,000 followers to seven. And then once I hit that seven, it took a day or two to get to 10 or 11,000. I think I woke up in 2 days and it was 11,000, and I immediately applied for the creator fund because I was like, oh, like we're here. And then from there, it just skyrocketed to, I think 81 days was the first dollar crossed. It took me 81 days to get paid, but it took me 60 days to get to 10K, I
That
believe.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And then I guess um, what I would ask is what was kind of the idea behind the school community? Because I mean, if we click into that, I'm going to share this tab. You know, you have 160 people in here that are all here from your content, right?
Mhm.
That's really why they're there. So tell us a little bit about what this might mean to you. And I mean, objectively, you're turning this into a business. That's what I'm seeing.
Yes.
So this is really fucking cool. So tell me about what you're doing here.
Yeah. So it kind of hit the heart where I was like, damn, like I'm actually doing something besides just, like having people talk on the internet. But somebody DM'd me and was like, I'm in a wheelchair and I want to defend myself. And I was like, that's like a DM, and I was like, holy crap, this guy like has no idea who I am, but my content has been in his face enough times to be like, this person might be able to help me. So I spent like the next 2, 3 weeks. I said, hey man, give me like 2 weeks, and I want to figure something out, and I will get something to you. And he was like, okay, well, I don't have any money, whatever. I said, don't worry about that, And so um, I focused on trying to deliver a self defense, something that he could learn to do every single day and apply every single day, so he has that confidence. And then I realized, like, I don't even know if he has the capability before, like if his muscles function in a way that it's supposed to be able to defend yourself. And so I built a foundational program of strength, and I was like, tell me what you can do, tell me what you can't do. And so I really broke it down to a T, but I delivered like a training program that I was like, hey man, you can do this for about 21 days. And this is based off the research I found, and let me know how it goes. And he was just very appreciative of it. And then it had me thinking, like, okay, let me make a video about, like, do you want to start your martial arts journey? And then all of a sudden that became one of the top 10 videos of, like, hey, you don't have a gym. um, right there. Yeah, that's the one. Like, you don't have a gym, you can do it from home. And then that's stirring up the pot. Obviously, you're gonna have people that are like, no way. But then I'm like, I bet you I can do that. I bet you I can make something that can do that. And so then school came into it. So my priority now at school is to deliver something that is super valuable for beginners, to just build a sense of confidence, to build a foundation, to then go and do whatever martial art you want to do. Because I truly believe martial arts is a great thing to have. You don't need to compete into it, but it teaches you that discipline. It teaches you self-discipline. It teaches you community, and it teaches you something that's very new to me, is like, I'd rather have discipline over motivation any day of the fucking week.
Mhm.
You need motivate, right? Some people don't want to wake up early. Some people don't want to go to their job. Like, they need motivation to do it. If you just have discipline, that feeling, it's not there. It's just like, I know I have to do this for the people I'm serving and for myself. So school is meant to serve myself, to give me that feeling of like, I need to work harder and I need to go out and deliver these programs myself. And I have a really good community of experts in jiu-jitsu and boxing and all these things, and I want to get their insight because I want to deliver something really valuable. But I really want to get more people involved with having a higher quality of life.
It's brilliant. And I learn something new every day as I just obviously I'm talking to you and talking to some of our other users. I talk to James all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you probably know Christine, maybe you don't. Sicily Ancient History. She's crushing it with OSSA. She hit 30,000 followers in like 33 videos, and one did
Mhm.
1.5 million on Instagram. Like insane,
Yeah, her Instagram page is nuts.
insane. And I had a question with one of my mentors. He sat down with me probably 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
because a lot of people, like, transparently, right? We're pretty transparent. Like, we've had a lot of churn and people are leaving the platform. And I was like, okay, why would people be leaving the platform? Well, we looked at some of the analytics, and it's like every free user generates on average, 2 to 3 videos. So everyone is like using the thing. So it's like, okay. Um, and then he's like, he told me to my face, like, as I was sitting getting coffee with him, he's like, you, what did he say? He was saying, um, it wasn't authenticity, but maybe it was. Essentially, he said to my face, like, you're lacking authenticity. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what do you mean? I'm like the most real person I've ever met.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just saying how it is. He's like, no. He's like, how many people have actually done what you're saying? And I'm like, hmm. And I'm like, well, we definitely have users that are doing it. And he's like, well, like, do other people know that? Like, do you talk about them? It's like, what are you actually trying to solve for? And I was thinking to myself, and that's what prompted me to reach out to you and find all our users. I'm like, I've been so, which is great, right? The product's in a great state, like it's obviously working, but I forgot that people need to know what it's actually used for,
right.
and we need to show proof. Otherwise, what are we doing? Like, I would not pay for a subscription for $80 a month if I thought the use case was just to create fun videos on an AI platform. I would unsubscribe for sure. So
Yeah.
it's like, we the reason I bring this up is because after talking with you, right, I'm realizing all these things. And one of the big things is, like, he asked me, he's like, would you actually, if you saw a video on your feed, would you buy from it? And I was like, you know what, I'm not sure, right? But, right, people don't have to buy from your content, and that's never been the promise. Because really what's happening, right, with AI content is, like, we definitely have users who have done that, and they've taken a video, they put it on, CapCut, they add a product image, and it
Right.
works for sure. Like, it will sell. But really what we help people do is we help them build a brand and get attention. And then you
Yes.
can decide what you want to do with that attention. And you can get paid from TikTok, as you are, right?
Mhm.
YouTube, whatever. But it's like the value that's actually getting provided to people, assuming they're willing to actually commit and they want to do this thing, is like, where else for 60 days could you post this much and then have 3 million people see something and have the opportunity to direct them somewhere else, like your school? And eventually, I would assume that'll turn into a really great business if you decide to build out the funnel, right? And then have resources in there. It's like, you could, if you closed 1% of those people for $99, that's like $1,000. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I just share that with you because it's just been awesome having you on, and you telling your story. And, like, we're just learning every day. I'm 23. I have so much to learn.
Yeah.
So I just think stories like yours, like, show people that you don't need to be, the best content creator ever. You don't need to have some crazy expertise, right? You don't need to know how to dance, or you don't need to be some, like, master whatever, right? You just
Yeah.
need to have a passion, and you need to be willing to commit. And it's like,
Mhm.
if attention is the new oil. So if you can understand that, no matter what, if I have a means to get attention, then I can go ahead and monetize that however I want. And that's exactly what you're doing. And I think that's, like, super inspiring because, I mean, what better situation could you be in? You're talking about what you love, right? It doesn't even feel like work. Now you're getting to make resources and eventually monetize on what you love and actually, you're passionate about. Like, it probably doesn't really feel like work.
No, not at all. It feels like a purpose I found. Feels like it's a fulfilling kind of thing, and I don't wanna be cliche about it, but, like, it makes me wanna get up and be like, "How can I serve these guys now?" Like, or these guys are waiting on me now. Now you have a bigger responsibility than just yourself. You gotta take care of yourself, don't get me wrong. You gotta take care of yourself. But, yeah, just knowing that there's a community out there that wants to get something done, even if it was just one person, because that's what it started with. It's just one person to reach out to me, and so, uh, yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. Well, I guess kind of closing thoughts here is, what are your overall goals? Let's, like, zoom out 6 to 12 months. Like, where do you see yourself in terms of, like, this page and this brand and really this business you're building?
Mhm.
And yeah, how do you see OSA playing a role in that, or continue to play a role in that? I'm just, like, curious on where you plan to take this.
Yeah, so it changes every day, but it's been a little bit more clear recently, and I think OSA is going to continue to be my main funnel of traffic. It's going to be that main attention grabber, like you said. It's that real estate, right? I can deliver that on every single platform at such a high rate that it allows me to get in front of the eyes I want to be in front of and things like that. And the community, where I'm building out the courses right now, as I was kind of telling you, and I want them to not be perfect, but to be very valuable. I want to create that trust with people that, like, I'm not here to just take your money. I'm a business, so I'll be straight up with you. Like, we've got stuff to pay for. As you said, OSA's $80 a month. Like, do I want to pay for that all the time? Like, no, I would love to be able to transition it, right? Obviously, into a business. But I'm here to bring value. I'm here to help people. That's my first way to just serve any way I can, is with this martial arts. And yeah, I think with tying in this as the funnel, obviously I still got a lot of things to learn about this kind of internet realm. It's
Mhm.
still very new to me, but by transitioning the OSA as the traffic, creating school as the product, like, I want to be able to fly out to different areas of the world and do seminars for people that maybe can't afford it, that maybe bring together, like, being able to just fund that and just actually physically see it. Like, don't get me wrong, this is awesome, having this connection with you and the people that are watching right now, but, like, being there and seeing it change people's lives, like, that's where I want to go with it. Now, how that gets done, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. So,
Yeah, I mean, it all starts with the community, right? I
mhm,
mean, that's really what it is, and that's exactly what you're doing, and I think it's just continuously building that and giving value like you already plan to do, and
mhm,
then people will think about Combat Citadel, and they won't just think, "Oh, it's faceless videos that I really enjoy,"
mhm.
but eventually, right, the people in your school community are going to think, man, like Combat Citadel, like this video, this is the guy that changed my life. This is the guy that gave me that entire free course. Right. So it's like those emotions that's really what you're doing. You're building a brand. Right. So it's like,
Right.
as you start to build out that community, people are going to start to think about you as more than, just someone they watch in their leisure time. Right. But it's going to be like this page, which, I do or don't know the face of this person. He's changing my life. And I think that's what's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's a lot of thanks to what you've done for the last 2 years, what you sacrificed. It's not easy building a business, and so what you were able to produce, which is a product, which is a tool for me to be able to inspire others. It's going to be done for so many other people too. So you got to pat yourself on the back as well for that.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. Well, I guess you guys already you already know where to find him. You know where his school is. It's right here in front of me. So if you want to check out what he's doing, you can go check out his page, Combat Citadel.
This is my
That's all.
first time showing my face too, so y'all just take a screenshot if you want to. I know I'm pretty, so but you guys get it first.
It's brilliant. Yeah. And like you said, you'll probably be showing your face inside the school. I think that's going to be really, really positive and a great way to connect with your community. And then, yeah, do you have any closing thoughts or advice for anyone who's looking to replicate your success? Like, what would you tell someone watching this that might be, either scared to get started or they've kind of been waiting? Like, if you were back when you first started, what was the advice you'd give yourself?
I think commit is the easiest thing to say, but it's the reps. Don't get hung up on a video. Like, don't, it has to just you have to keep going. It has to be the more reps the better, right? So if we're looking at it and there's over probably 200 videos or so on my page, it took me 60 days, so do the math, right? Like, I didn't just post one video a day. It had to just keep happening. And so I know that the more reps you do, right? That Let's just think about the 10,000 hours, right? If you do something for 10,000 hours, I don't have time for 10,000 hours. So I'd rather just do 10,000 reps, which I can get done way faster. So it's about the reps. Apply yourself. Don't get hung up on it. Take some time away, but just be consistent and apply yourself. I mean, fuck, like, we're all gonna die. Like, let's get over this. Like, right, we're all gonna die. And if it's something that you're like, man, if I had, like, think about it. If I had a brand and I know exactly the product and everything maybe you have the product already, but you need to get in front of faces. Like, apply yourself to this and watch what happens in 60 days, 120 days. Like, just watch. So
That's brilliant. And my mind is turning with ideas. I'm so happy you hopped on, brother. And this has been awesome. Yeah. Well, this will be recorded. So if anyone came in late, it's going to be on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. And then, yeah, I'm sure we'll have you back on. I'm excited when you hit like 100,000 followers and you have a school community of 1,000 people. And we're definitely going to want to do an update and see how your journey goes. So this will be one of many for sure.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate it. And I'll be here.
Awesome. Well, guys, that wraps up this. Let me just make sure we're all set. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Yeah, Infoball Clip said 500K views on his TikTok is insane. Love the success. Told you guys do email marketing in house. We do handle that in house ourselves. But thank you, brother. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thanks so much, Kui. It's been awesome. And yeah, everyone have a wonderful day.